Welcome to SportsBanter. This is Bryce, and I'm joined by Calvin and Luca. And today we are doing the next round. I think it's the conference finals of the NBA playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah, it is the conference finals.
Thank you for confirming that is the conference finals. Now, on to our predictions.
You're welcome.
The first series we're going to talk about is the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Phoenix Suns series. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. Yeah. So yeah, Clippers Suns. Both teams are good. Stupid analysis right there, but both teams are without arguably their best player in the Suns, which is CP3, Chris Paul, and then the Clippers are without their best player, Kawhi Leonard. Paul's gonna be back soon because it's just the COVID stuff. Freaking Kawhi could be out for a while though, and say that's what happens. Suns go through. Suns are the better team, especially if they have CP, and the Clippers still don't have Kawhi. So I think that's the most likely thing. Even if both players are back, I still see the Suns edging out the Clippers. So I'm gonna say Sun. I mean, yeah, the first game's already started, so Phoenix is leading 1-0, but I'm still gonna say Suns in five. I think they can comfortably win this.
I'll go next. I agree with almost everything you said. Yeah, they're both pretty good teams, and I think that the Suns do have the advantage as they've already shown in the first game. That doesn't change where I was going to say the series would go. It just kind of more confirms it. But even if the Clippers won, I'm still going to stick to this. Suns in 7.
So, yeah, I kind of agree with y'all. Everything else said. I do want to shout out Terrence Mann in the last series, especially that game 6 against the Utah Jazz. Completely played extremely well, 39 points, and I believe it was 39 minutes. But the guy looks better than Paul George, which Paul George has arguably been having a pretty stellar postseason. But, you know, the big highlight or the big storyline going into it is the best player on the Clippers and the best player on the Suns are out right now. Arguably the best player on the Suns, because I might argue that Devin Booker's better than Chris Paul.
The Suns, yeah.
But Chris Paul might be the
that's
more
why
important player.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't committed to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that the Suns as a team, even without Chris Paul, have looked fantastic. I mean, I know this is kind of cheating because we were supposed to make these predictions before the series started. But game 1, Devin Booker carried the team on his back. A 40-point triple-double. His first ever triple-double in his career.
That's
in game 1 of the Western Conference Finals.
He's still young. He's 20.
Devin Booker's the age of 24, so he's still really young for him to develop. And also just with the Clippers, I mean, they looked impressive, but I feel like not having Kawhi Leonard is just going to kill this team. So I'm going with Suns in 6, just because I think the Suns are better off without CP3 than the Clippers are without Kawhi Leonard. And the thing with Kawhi Leonard is that his knee injury is going to be definitely a huge factor, as I think Kawhi's had a bad injury history. So him going in with a knee injury, of all things, is not going to do him favors. I don't know if he's even going to come back this series. I know they're hopeful on it, but my money's on the Suns in 6.
Moving on to the East, I'll go ahead and start that one off.
Yeah.
Being the resident Hawks fan since the past 2 months. I thought the Hawks looked really good. I'll be honest, I haven't watched much of Milwaukee other than I think 1 or 2 games. And in my opinion, I thought the Sixers had better moments than Milwaukee sometimes. And I would say that the Sixers are better. So having seen Atlanta already beat the Sixers, it wasn't very handily. And if they have more than 1 or 2 off games, they could very easily lose the series. But I do think that Atlanta will handle Milwaukee in 6.
I agree with most points of Calvin's. I'm a resident Hawks fan too, I guess. Well, not guess. I just don't know what he's talking about. But yeah, Calvin, I understand the points you're saying and the optimism. I love it. But I think the power of Jrue Holiday and Giannis, they're just monsters. And I love the Hawks, but I don't think they're ready for this. The mismatch between Holiday and Young's probably going to not be able to defend at all. I mean, he usually doesn't, but I'm saying at all at this point, and Drew's gonna be able to shut him down, I think, a few times. Who's gonna guard Giannis? I don't even know. John Collins won't be able to do it. Capella, that's borderline, but I don't think it'll happen. Um, so yeah, DeAndre Hunter's injury again is gonna hurt Atlanta here, I think. He scored over the season. He scored 30 plus points in one game against the Bucks. I mean, that's just a random stat. It's not really important in postseason, I guess, but it shows that he's been able to do really well against them. So without him, it stinks. Um, I think this is gonna be a really good series, really exciting. I think it'll be more exciting than the Suns. I mean, obviously, I got a team I like in there, but it's still, I think, even as a neutral, I think the series might be a little better. I think the Bucks are slightly overrated, but the talent and size, I think it might be a little too much for this Hawks team to handle. And pointing on young Hawks team, this young Hawks team is going to be dominating these playoffs the next couple of years. So it's okay if they don't really do much here. But yeah, if they had that one more player, that one more really good player, or one of their younger players like DeAndre Hunter pans out to be a very good player, I would see the Hawks winning this. But right now, how it is, I say Bucks in 6.
Yep, those are good points. It is worth mentioning that I believe in 3 meetings this season, the Bucks beat the 76ers all 3 times. Once by a pretty handy over 30 points, and the other times by about 4 to 7. So, I mean, the Bucks have proven to be the better team, I suppose. I only say that I think the Sixers are better because I thought that they had a little bit more talent, but that could easily be wrong.
Yeah, I, I will say this in regards to the Sixers Hawks series. The Sixers blew 2 games. The Sixers blew 2 games that they should have won. This and the Hawks should have not won. Hawks did have great performances. Trae Young especially, and Kevin Huerter this past game 7, but Philly blew 2 leads that they should have seen out. So the Hawks were, I would say, a little fortunate to win this series. I think the Knicks series was all fairness to Hawks. I think the Hawks were way better than the Knicks. Well, not way better, but better. But the 76ers were the favorites going into this series, and rightfully so, and they choked. But if the Hawks can get lucky like this again, anything's possible.
Yeah, I think that I'm not a Hawks fan, but I've appreciated the work that Trae Young has done this postseason. He's been playing extremely well. He's definitely probably gained some fans in the NBA. But I know I've doubted the Hawks, man. I thought they were going to lose round 1 to the Knicks. Thought they were going to lose round 2 to the 76ers. But I think they're actually going to lose now. I know I say it every time. The Hawks just don't match up well with the Bucks, in my opinion. They really don't. Like Luca said, they're probably going to have Jrue Holiday, who is all defensive first team, guard Trae Young. And you've seen games last series where Trae Young's been shooting poorly, and maybe the team has to rely on someone else. And there's no, definitive X Factor superstar on that team outside of Trae Young that can really get you points. Now, I'm not saying that the Bucks are way better, because I think the Bucks are going to get smoked in the finals if they make it. Just because I don't think the team's coached well. They were lucky enough to get out of the series against Brooklyn. They had to rely on, Kevin Durant scoring 49 points and not being able to carry them to victory in Game 7. And, well, of course, we're going to mention that in that Nets series, Kyrie was out for, I guess, more than half of it. And James Harden was just coming back during that series. So he wasn't completely playing well. Like, the team wasn't at full strength in the slightest. And yet they almost beat the Bucks, which a season ago were the number 1 seed, arguably got better this season. I don't like the Bucks just because I don't think Mike Budenholzer coaches well, especially with the amount of talent that there is. But again, I just can't ignore that the Hawks aren't really a good matchup against the Bucks, just because the Bucks have length. And I don't know who's going to guard Giannis consistently. Is it going to be John Collins? Can he really do that for a 7-game series? And if you're going to put Capella on him, then what's happening with Brook Lopez? He's just going to be in the paint all day, scoring at will. To make a long story short, Bucks in 5.
Okay, well.
Whoa.
I'm going bold.
I do want to say this though. Because you brought up the Nets Bucks series. This is sort of off topic, but I always gotta finish
That's
a
on
video
top.
like this. I think that Nets series shows possibly, probably, yeah, Kevin Durant's the best, like currently the best player in the NBA. Durant was insane. He's been great all season. It's insane watching him play. The size of him, how he moves, how he can defend as well.
Yeah, I want to comment on two other things, and it really has to do with the Eastern Conference Finals. So first, the game or the series, the Philadelphia and the Hawks. Honestly, if Ben Simmons hit free throws at more consistent rates, the Hawks would probably not be in this position. I think the 76ers could have closed it out in 6 if Ben Simmons could shoot free throws correctly. Because the thing you've seen a lot is that it's late in the game, it's a close game, Hawks foul Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons makes 1 of 2. And that really cost them the game.
That's true, yeah. But what about Tobias Harris? He was sort of inconsistent.
Yeah, I think he was inconsistent too, but I feel like, as a point guard, if you're getting fouled consistently because they know you can't shoot and you don't get any better, you're just
Yeah.
proving their strategy to be
Yeah.
right. On a similar topic, the thing that also kind of worries me about the Bucks is Giannis's free throw shooting. I mean, people made fun of it all throughout the postseason about how long he takes to shoot free throws. And he only shoots 68.5% in the regular season. I'm sure it's much worse in the playoffs because he shoots a lot of them in the playoffs. Because just like Ben Simmons, everyone knows that Giannis isn't too good at free throws. He averaged 54% in free throw shooting during the playoffs.
So that'll probably be the Hawks' target when it gets late in the game and they need someone to foul. Probably going to go to Giannis because, like you said, it's that one of 2. I mean, that's about exactly what he's averaging. They're going to bank on that late in the game. So I think that is an advantage. But as Luca said, they have a lot of power on this team, on this Bucks team. So they do have the chance to just run it back and just never look back.
Yeah, our good friend Ray also likes talking about X factors in this series. I think that Jrue Holiday could be an X factor in this series just because last series he really didn't play well offensively against the Nets, and that might have almost killed them just because that forced Giannis to have to put on a good game every single game to be even close to beating the Nets. So Jrue Holiday really needs to play well this series and put some pressure off of Giannis if they want to win this series. Especially if, I predicted it to be 5. If they even want to get close to that, you have to have help other than Giannis. Do we have anything else we want to talk about with the playoffs? Any cool thing we've seen? How it's going?
As the resident Hawks fan, it was nice to see Joel Embiid get sent to Cancun.
Yeah. I can imagine.
That isn't not. Joel Embiid was very, very hard to get control of. Joel did almost everything he could to try to win it for this team. Seth Curry, shout out to him. When he was on it, Seth Curry was a monster.
Seth
Curry was absolutely obliterating it with threes, and Embiid was just didn't matter where he was on the court, no matter who was on him, he always had the threat of putting it in the net.
I don't know if it's just me, but I viewed Seth Curry as maybe the second best player on that 76ers team.
Yeah,
Oh, he is.
Yeah, definitely.
At the beginning of the season, I definitely wasn't thinking
Sure.
that the second best player is Seth Curry. He would have been on like my 4th.
So
get
do you
that.
think that after in these playoff performances, based on Seth's playoff performance, do you think that he holds a candle to his older brother?
Oh, Steph's by far better.
I mean,
That's not going to change. Unless
Hang
Steph
on,
Curry retires now.
I'll put it like this. I think Seth holds a candle, but it might be an extremely weak flame. Steph Curry's one of the best players of the past 20 years. Seth's not.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, no matter how far, how much better he gets, I don't think he can compare to Steph Curry. Steph Curry is a revolutionary in basketball. That's what a lot of people call him. Just because he's going to probably break, if he hasn't already, the 3-pointer record. The guy is crazy.
Yeah. I would say one more thing. Steph is way more important to his team than Seth Curry is. Seth Curry is important, but not at the same level Steph is.
Yeah. I'll use the eye test kind of to give you a comparison. When you look at Steph Curry on that basketball court, he looks comfortable when he's shooting threes. He can shoot it out of anything and it can go straight in that basket. I don't feel that way about Seth Curry. Anyways, I think that both series are extremely exciting, and I can't wait to see who makes the NBA Finals. With that all being said, if you enjoyed this content, like, comment, and subscribe. Share with all your friends. And hopefully, we're going to see you back for the NBA Finals predictions, which will happen at the beginning of July once both series are over. And until then, we'll see you on the next video.
There's a small chance I won't be here for the finals. In the event that the Hawks go to Cancun, just know that I'm picking whoever wins the West to win.